So now we're going to start touching on the campaign aspect of space infantry. And when it comes to campaigns are going to function very similar to the missions that we've already discussed, except you're going to have a string of these missions. Now, some new components and new rules do come into play when we start talking about campaigns. So I am going to touch on some of these new components like I have set out here. Explain the basics of what each of these mean, and then we'll get into the basics of how a campaign is actually going to run. So what I have laid out in front of you here is the campaign sheet, and you'll have one of these for each one of the campaigns that you run. As an example, this is campaign C001, Prelude to War, and here at the top of the sheet is just a little historical blurb. It's basically why you are fighting whoever you're fighting. When we look right below that, this is our campaign log, and this is effectively going to be our list of missions that we're going to fight. And you'll notice that the ID section here is blank, and that's because you operate off of a mission deck, which you see actually located right here to the right. For this campaign, there's two decks that you operate off of, Deck A and Deck B. And depending on how many campaigns or how many missions you've completed, rather, will determine which deck you're drawing from. So looking here, our first four missions, we're all drawing from Deck A. And we look here on the campaign sheet, and it shows you which ones of these cards are going to be a part of that deck when you draw for these potential missions. So you'll never know exactly which mission that you're going to be going on because it is going to be randomized. Here to the right, it also does give you any special rules that come into play and, for example, your alert level. So your alert level will remain at level 1 until you get to mission 4, where it goes to 2, and then down here, and that will be different for each one of the campaigns. However, that's not the only cards that are included in your mission deck, because when you look at the bottom, it also includes event cards. Some will be added later, as located here on our campaign log. More event cards are added, but it points out alert level 1 events times 2, so you will draw 2 of these encounter cards, and they would be added to the deck to be randomly drawn to change things up, give you a little variety when you're doing your missions. We'll cover these encounter cards a little bit more specifically later on how they're going to work. So just to summarize, as you draw cards for your missions, you will write down whichever card that you draw. So for example, if we drew mission 001, you would write down 001 as your first mission, and so on for each one of these. Located right below this is what's called your Strat Ops, or your strategic operation cards. Now this is this stack of cards, and they add extra bonuses for your troops. Things like weapons, better ammo, med kits, intel packs, squad points. They give you so many little ways to kind of break the rules in your favor. It gives you a little bit of a boost to help, since you are doing a campaign and you're going to be taking a lot of casualties. There is a fair amount going on with these cards. They do more than just that, as in they give you recruiting points as well, but we will touch on that a little bit more specifically when we talk about our squad roster sheet here in the next video. The rest of the campaign sheet itself is actually fairly self-explanatory. The victory level, once you've completed it, is located here at the top. Your end mission procedure, which we'll touch on a little bit more later on, and then how many victory points you earn for what while you're performing your missions.